How many times have you awakened in the middle of the night with a brilliant idea? I mean, the kind of idea that will change your career, change the world, change the future, and you're absolutely convinced that the next morning you'll remember it, but you never do. How's that working for you? Doesn't work at all. And I've discovered that happens so much during the day as well. Ideas are the most fragile thing in the world, and if you don't write them down, they will disappear forever. That's why today I want to talk about how I write ideas down, how I capture ideas, and why you need to start. Today we live in a creative economy. If you've looked around very much, you know creative ideas and creative jobs really drive this economy. In Hollywood, the creative jobs are the most highly paid. It's the same thing in advertising, marketing, promotional stuff. Wherever you are, creativity matters. I was at a restaurant just the other day. We were in San Diego visiting some friends, and we went to this breakfast restaurant they wanted to visit. And as soon as I walked in the door, I realized design thinking, creative design thinking had turned this into an amazing experience. Not only was the food great, but the design of the restaurant was fantastic. Even the swag, the coffee cups they sold, the t-shirts they wore, the menu design, it was all incredible. And I realized companies that really value creativity and are able to express that in what they do are the companies that are going to make a big impact on the culture. So I want to talk about ideas because the truth is, no matter how great your ideas, if you can't capture them, you failed. You failed. And I discovered, as I said in the teaser, that so many times I'll wake up in the middle of the night and I'll think I have an idea that's going to be amazing, and I'm sure I'll remember it in the morning, but I've just learned year after year after year after year, I never do. And it's that way during the day. I'll be driving in the car. I'll be working on a phone call in a meeting, and I'll have an idea pop into my head, and I'm thinking, okay, I'll remember that, but 5 minutes later, I've completely forgotten about it. So understand, first of all, that ideas are incredibly fragile. They're so transitory that we need to be intentional about jotting them down. And here's the thing, you don't need a fantastic, organized system. Just get it down on paper or in an app in some form just to capture it, and that's going to make a big difference. I've spent a lot of time over the years working on various systems. How do I looking at apps, evaluating different to-do list apps, note-taking apps, things like that. How do I best capture ideas, organize them, and then keep them for the future? And I've discovered that, first of all, we just have to get them down. We just have to get them down. And then we can talk about how we utilize them, how we organize them, so that later we can pull them up when the need arises. I think the key realization that you need to understand is that our memory is far from perfect. Certainly, my memory is way far from perfect. And I've just discovered that I got to write these things down. So I want to start talking a little bit today about methods for how to get these things down. Now, let's talk about apps for just a minute. A lot of the ideas that I capture, I start thinking about an app. So one of the apps I use the most often is called a strange little app called Captio, C-A-P-T-I-O, C-A-P-T-I-O, Captio. And it's a simple little note-taking app. And what it does is you pre-program your email address into the app so that whenever an idea pops in your head, just open the app, jot down the idea. You can speak it into the app if you want, but jot down the idea, and then just hit send, and it will automatically go into your inbox. So it doesn't go to a to-do list, but at least it puts it into your inbox stream, and you're going to see the idea later. You've jotted it down, you've captured it. So I use Captio all the time. I've used it for years and years and years, capturing those quick ideas because it's pre-programmed. I don't have to type in my email address. I don't have to do anything like that. Just jot the idea down and hit send. I would encourage you to check it out. Captio. It's very simple, and yet it's incredibly helpful. Then we start thinking in terms of a little more formal to-do list, and you can put ideas in there. You can put them in an inbox, and then you want to be able to sort them and organize them somewhat. It's all based on the Getting Things Done book that came out a number of years ago. David Allen wrote it. It was a really, game-changing book on productivity. For the first time, somebody really talked about how to efficiently be productive with a to-do list, how to manipulate that so you could use it more effectively. Now, a lot of us overdo the to-do list thing. I went to college with a guy that spent the first hour of every day at work working on his to-do list. He had the most beautiful, breathtaking to-do list I've ever seen. He never actually got anything done, however, but he spent an enormous amount of time making the perfect to-do list. I find, I want something that's super simple, super easy that I don't have to spend much time with. And I've tried a million to-do list apps, task management apps. The one I keep coming back to is Things. It's by Cultured Code, C-U-L-T-U-R-E-D, capital C-O-D-E, Cultured Code. It's called Things. I think the version right now is Things 3, but that will change by the time you see this probably. But Cultured Code's app called Things, and it's elegant. I mean, it's beautiful. It's not cheap. You pay for it, but man, oh man, it's elegant, it's simple, and it's incredibly easy. I can email, when I get emails, I can turn around and forward the emails, and it'll go to Things. It'll go to the to-do list app. It'll go right into the inbox up there. I can capture them in multiple ways. And then once you're in Things, you can manipulate them around. You can slide them to different projects, different clients, different categories, all those things. So I try to make sure everything ultimately ends up in Things. And so those two apps are probably the ones I like the best. Now, there's some other ones, to-do list apps, task management apps that are a lot less expensive. And of course, if you're a Mac person, you can use the Notes app. There's so many other ways around it. If you're a Microsoft person, there's OneNote, there's Outlook, there's different tools you can use there. But I just find that for what I do, Captio is a quick way to jot things down. And then if I want to start really putting it into the system and putting it in a place so the ideas will be better, I call Things, my program, my to-do list program, Things, I call it my idea vault, because I'm more apt to just dump stuff in there, and then just at least I have a depository for all these millions of ideas that are popping into my head. Then I often will switch to print, and that's where my unique planner, you've heard me talk about my unique planner. It's available at uniquecreativeplanner.com, or you can go to my blog at philcooke.com and see it, or you can go to Amazon and get it on Amazon or Barnes & Noble. Now, I have discovered that on my blog, if you go to my blog and click on the Creative Planner ad that's on my homepage, there's a post there that really explains how to use it, and I'd encourage you to do that. But the unique thing about my planner is that it helps me prioritize and come down to really the three main things I need to do that day. These are the priorities. I have a box for 3 priorities. Now, remember, you productivity experts know that research indicates you're not going to get more than 2-3 things done in a typical day. These are big bucket items, big important things that need to be done. I have space for a personal list and then other tasks because things come into mind and I want to jot things down. And then I have a lot of free space here where I can write, I can draw, I can do whatever. But the idea is at some point I use Things. Really Captio captures the idea to begin with, and then it goes into Things. Now, this sounds like a process, but it's really very simple, and it becomes incredibly easy. And then during the day, I just use Unique, my planner, to really prioritize, and I work out of this actually during the day. Now, there's a couple other ways you could do it, which I think are interesting. I'm a big fan of field notes. This is, the little field notes notebook that you carry around. My unique planner is important, and it goes for 6 months. This is good for 6 months of work, but I can't really carry that around in my back pocket. This I can. You can get the Field Notes notebooks. They're really inexpensive, and they're great notebooks to have. And then I bought on Amazon, a little leather wallet so I can just put it in my back pocket. That way I always carry it around. And then I got a space pen. Let me see if I can find my space pen. It's around here somewhere. Here we go. A Fisher space pen. Whether they took these into space or not, I don't know, but they're called the Fisher space pen, and they'll write upside down. That's what I love about this thing. I can be laying down, I can be on an airplane, anywhere in the weirdest situation, and this will always write. So I can carry this, just super simple to fit in my pocket, and I'll throw this in my back pocket, particularly when I'm traveling. So if I get an idea, I'll pop it down into this, and then later I can either transfer it to my planner or transfer it to Things or just leave it in here and do what I want because I check this from time to time. But the idea is with most of these things, and certainly my field notes, no matter where I am, if an idea pops into my head, and trust me, I don't know about you, but it happens to me all the time. And so I want to be able to jot it down. Now, another alternative that you may like better, I used this for a while. This is from a company called Levenger. Levenger. You can go to levenger.com. It's a little bit expensive, but it's kind of high-end office things. But they make this little notepad or note card wallet. It's really kind of cool. You can carry it in your pocket, and you can order these note cards from Levenger that fit into it. You can have them customized. I've had mine customized with my name and phone number and email address and website on here. And that way you can use them for a business card if you need to. You can jot a note, leave it with a client, leave it with a person if you need to do that. It gives you space to write. Business cards, rarely give you a space to write anything on them, and these do. And you can carry this in your pocket in the same way. My field notes, literally they're about the same size, and they're both really, really good. And this is maybe a little bit thicker. It doesn't carry as many pages because these are cardstock cards, not just pages like in field notes. So you can carry a much larger field notes book in the same space that you carry this Levenger or a handful of cards. But either way, the idea is you've got something you can jot down right away. Now, I'll tell you a secret of something that's kind of funny. I bought this to put next to my bed at night because I got so sick of jotting down, of waking up in the middle of the night and with an idea and forgetting about it. But then I started writing them down. I keep notepads by my bedside on my nightstand, and I'll get up, and of course it's pitch dark. I don't want to wake up Kathleen, and it's pitch dark. I start writing things down, and I get up in the morning, and it's totally an alien language. I have no idea what I was writing in the middle of the night in the black darkness. So I got what's called the Pilot's Pen. You can actually go to thepilotspin.com. And watch this. It has a little flashlight, little light that comes on. So when I'm writing, it just illuminates what I'm writing. It's a tiny little space, but I can actually see the letters. It's kind of a cool little gizmo. And I keep that next to my bed, and that's fantastic for traveling with. It's fantastic for traveling with. And I keep it, in the middle of the night. You wake up with an idea, you want to jot it down, pull up my little Pilot's Pen. You can open it without the light coming on, another switch, the light will come on, and you can actually see what you're writing. So I'd encourage you, it's weird, check it out, thepilotspin.com. But it's a terrific resource for helping you get stuff down in the blackness. It could work in a movie theater. It could work anywhere where things are dark. If you're on an all-night flight, if you're on a red eye and you don't want to turn on your overhead light and wake people up, it's a great tool to have. So those are just some of the ways that I want to get ideas down. Now understand, there's guys like my friend Michael Hyatt who are much more sophisticated than me. He's got systems after systems after systems worked out. He's an amazing guy. But I'm much more simple. I just want to get the idea down because I've just discovered in my own life, getting the idea down is half the battle. The problem is we forget. I used to come in from a long day at work, jotting ideas on the back of a napkin or the back of a card or the back of an envelope. And at night I would get to my bed and I'd unpack my pockets from my pants and I'd put it on my nightstand. It's just a pile of paper with wild ideas on them. And then I learned about field notes and I started writing them down in my field notes, and at least I can carry this around and always have an idea pop up. And then when I'm ready to really start working, my unique planner is the basis and the real key for that. So just remember, the key to getting things done is getting them down. Let me say that again. The key to getting things done is getting them down. So until you come up with a reliable, productive method for getting ideas down, you're never gonna go to the level you need to go in your creative life. So start really thinking. I'd encourage you, listen to this episode again, jot it down, make notes, and I'll write down all these things in the notes, by the way, in the podcast. So when you see the notes, you can see all these brands, and I'll provide links to all these different brands. It'll help. But the key thing is find a system that works for you. You don't have to work like I do. You don't have to go by the same system I do. But you might like other kinds of notebooks or other kinds of apps or other kinds of plans, whatever. Just find a system that works for you because you want to start making sure you can get ideas down, then start organizing them in a way they'll become available. That's another thing. How often have you really struggled to find that idea that you wrote down 6 months ago, and now's the moment, but you can't find it? That's one of the reasons that I think my unique planner, I have to go back to that, I think it's so amazing, is that we took the time to create an index. Here, here's some good, we made an index. So if there's a particular page of notes that I want to find later, I wrote it down. We were working on doing a masterclass, an online masterclass, and I made some notes about what topics we should cover, wrote them down here on page 43, and I've got them in my index, so now I can go back and easily find those notes. Remember, getting things done starts with getting things down. Thanks for watching. Remember, share this with people you know. If you know scatterbrained, creative people that are having trouble remembering the great ideas they come up with, I'd encourage you, send this to to them. Share them. Write some comments. And I would love to know, by the way, I'd like for you to respond and tell me the ideas, techniques, tools, apps you use, because I'm always curious about what other people are using. So let me know, what are the things you use in your productive day, in your creative day, to get those ideas down and take your career to the next level. I think it's so important that we learn these things and share ideas, and I love it. And remember, give us a rating, give us a comment, give us a thumbs up, give us a like, and share it with everybody you know that can use some more ideas about getting things down, particularly when it comes to creativity.